Welcome to the 85th episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies Podcast.
So damn paranormal. Ow!
Sorry, that was probably too loud.
My 80s hairband rendition.
Yes. What hair?
My name is Jason Knight, host of the show, and with me this evening is the one and only Mr. Oscar Spector, producer extraordinaire.
Yo.
Oscar, you sound tired.
Actually, I'm not really that tired. I mean, I'm tired from sitting here all day.
Yeah.
But I'm not really that tired. This is my prime spot. I usually fall asleep around 6, 7 a.m.
Well, we're close. It's 4:50 a.m.
Oh, I know. By the time I get home, I'll definitely be tired.
Curiously quiet this evening is Dave Black and Joe Erie. They're not here, but that's fine.
Right.
Because we carry the flag even when they're not here.
Unless we knock them out cold and then put something over their mouths, that's the only way they can be here and be quiet at the same time.
Quiet. That's right. Well, you know, the show takes time, money, and resources, and we do this all on our own. Mm-hmm. So work comes in the way sometimes for Joe and Dave in this case. Support our Patreon, Supernatural Occurrence Studies Podcast on Patreon.
Right, especially if you want to hear us make fun of Joe and Dave.
Yeah.
Jave.
We could maybe hire some research assistants.
That'd be nice.
We could subsidize Dave and Joe's salary. And then they could be here more.
Well, I don't know about that part much. Don't necessarily need them here and all that.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm just making
true.
fun of them.
I wish they were here for this episode, though.
Yes.
Because they were involved.
Yes,
But the show must go on.
Yes.
Listeners expect an episode every 2 Mondays.
And they were just asking for another Ohio one, too.
You thought you were out of the woods.
Just when they thought you were out, you pull you back in.
Right. Well, we've been recording for I don't know how many hours right now.
Dude, many.
There's going to be a bonus episode coming out. I don't know when. We'll figure that out.
I don't know
but,
either.
It's a 2-hour outtakes episode.
Outtakes.
We planned on just warming up and because we usually do a show. We made a show out of it.
Yeah.
But damn it, I think it was pretty good.
I think so too.
What was the title you came up with? It was good.
The Nowhere episode, but no with a K, N-O-W.
So there's some knowledge in there.
Yeah.
I like it. The Nowhere episode. So listeners, watch out for the Nowhere episode. I don't know. Hopefully it came out okay. There were drinks involved, and
maybe the lens cap was on.
Lens cap might have been on, yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make this intro pretty short, not really get down rabbit holes on any side stories, because it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and we have 12 pages of notes to get through.
I might see your kids today.
Uncle Oscar, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
Nico dropped the F-bomb at school the other day.
No, he didn't.
He did.
Please tell me everything.
He goes, what the fuck is this?
To what? Homework?
To one of his friends. And then the friend told his teacher.
Of course.
That's straight from me, not my wife.
What a snitch.
Yeah, I know. Bitch-ass friend.
You know how you make an ashtray? You grab a cigarette and a snitch's forehead.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah. Fucking anyway,
the life I live.
Running.
So let's just run down the episode. Housekeeping is the word I was looking for.
Good job. Good job working around the tire.
So my notes here say mention social accounts. Is what my notes
You usually
say.
Don't have to say that. You usually
mention my social accounts.
Mention social. So it's Chicagost.
No!
On Twitter.
So according to my notes, listeners can support the show by joining our Patreon.
I thought it was Indiegogo. No? It's not that?
No. And if they join our Patreon, they can receive cool stuff. Like signed ghostly photos, chat sessions with the host.
That sounds like ghosts signed the photograph.
Maybe they did.
And you can't see it. It's fucking
automatic writing.
Yeah. It'll be in lime juice, so you need a black light.
Oh, you remember that when we were kids? Facebook at Chicago Ghost Podcast. We actually got a little Facebook review I want to read. I always promise listeners if you leave us comments, we will read them on the show. So on the Supernatural Occurrence Studies Podcast Facebook page, again, that's at Chicago Ghost Podcast on Facebook, Rebecca Codner commented on our Laurel Canyon episode, the last episode, last official episode, because I don't know when these bonuses are going to come out. Right? So the Laurel Canyon episode.
Yes, that's right.
Rebecca Codner left us a picture of herself and her son in front of the notorious Celio Drive house where the Charles Manson murders took place, 10050 Celio Drive. Took a picture of herself and her son in front of the Celio Drive property on the 44th anniversary of the Manson murders. So she got to go there. I would love to go there. And she commented she's listening to the show, meaning the Laurel Canyon show, and loving it. So we did good on that one. So good job, Oscar.
Hey.
Thank you, Rebecca. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, hope to keep you as a listener. Love it, love it, love it. So that's Facebook. Going on my notes here. Oh, Twitter and Instagram at Chicago Ghosts.
Chicago Ghosts,
yeah, on Twitter and Instagram. I'm always putting shit up there. Just whatever kind of comes my way, I'll put it on Instagram. YouTube channel. Listeners, we got a ton of shit on YouTube. Supernatural Occurrence Studies on YouTube. While you're there, leave us some love. Subscribe, click the bell so you're notified every time we upload new content.
That reminded me of something. Did we ever post anything about that cemetery thing you did in Detroit?
Yes. Yeah, it's called the Oakwood Cemetery Enigma.
When are we going to do a show? Didn't you want an audio version of it?
I do have audio of it. Yeah, I never did release it as a podcast.
Okay. Do you need me to work it or no?
Only as a YouTube.
I don't know if you
that could maybe be another bonus episode.
Okay.
It's maybe 30 minutes.
Right, yeah.
So with a little intro, that could work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, so listeners, stay tuned for what happened to me at the Oakwood Cemetery in Michigan. It was crazy, very unexpected. Email us at contact@chicagoghostpodcast.com, contact@chicagoghostpodcast.com. Of course, our website is chicagoghostpodcast.com. Call us, text, anytime. Chicago area code 872-529-0767. That's 872-529-0767.
Not in the Chicago area code.
It really is, I promise. It's the Gold Coast. It's where I can't afford to live.
It's like a mustard yellow coast.
Leave us some messages, text messages. We'll read them on the show. I promise. We don't have any messages this week, but we'll play them. Yeah. We've done it in the past. And guys, please leave us some love on iTunes. The reviews count. I can't say this enough. You could review us right off of your cell phones where you're probably listening to this right now. Give us some love. Ratings help listeners just like yourselves find us.
Right. If not inclined to do it financially, by all means, this is a free way to do it where other people can discover our show. And then, there are algorithms of iTunes and all that shit. They figure it out. They put all this, they put it into more people's feeds when they look up for topics that we talk about.
Yeah.
And that's how we generate more content, more people, more listeners, which will benefit you in the long run. So,
yeah, exactly. I want to grow this thing. I want it to be big, huge.
We're watering it. Where's the sunlight? We need sunlight, guys.
That's right. Well, that's done with the housekeeping.
Sweet.
Should we take a quick break?
Yeah.
Listen to a sponsor?
Yeah.
All right. This episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast is brought to you by Grammarly.com. Grammarly. Built by linguists and language lovers, Grammarly's writing app finds and corrects hundreds of complex writing errors instantly, so you don't have to. Copy and paste any English text into Grammarly's online text editor or install the free Grammarly extension for Chrome, Firefox, and Safari, and get to writing. Download Grammarly now for free at www.getgrammarly.com/ghost. That's getgrammarly.com/ghost. Bring Grammarly's powerful algorithms straight to wherever you are writing online. Gmail, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and more. What are you waiting for? Download Grammarly for free at getgrammarly.com/ghost. Welcome back to the podcast. Listeners, please check out our sponsor and or sponsors. Follow the links that we gave and help support the show. I don't know what you're going to play,
I mean,
so I don't even pretend.
I think Grammarly is next.
Oh, yeah, we do have a Grammarly ad. Grammarly, actually, I'm not going to digress too much, but I use Grammarly every single day.
Can I be very painfully honest to you?
Yeah.
Even though I put in all the ads and at some point I must have listened to them, but I don't know what they are. What the hell is Grammarly?
Grammarly is this, it's an autocorrect, spelling and grammar autocorrect service.
Oh, really?
I use it as a Google Chrome add-on.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm typing emails, Facebook updates, Twitter updates, posting stuff to LinkedIn for work, if I screw up or if I do something that's grammatically incorrect, Grammarly will kick in and let me know and then offer me suggestions to correct it.
Oh, cool.
And it really does work. I use it all
That's
the time.
good because a lot of those, like for Twitter, it doesn't spell correct at all.
Right.
It's like your phone, right?
So you don't
When
look
you're
like an
texting.
idiot. It helps
Yeah.
you from not looking like an idiot.
Right. That's
So,
good.
yeah, maybe if you use Grammarly, then
Although in
listeners,
this day and
check out
age, when
Grammarly.
people say D's nuts with D-E-E-Z, I don't know if...
I don't think it'll call it. It'll say no.
Right, no, but I'm saying in the age of people saying shit that doesn't make any goddamn sense,
Yeah.
maybe...
It was really funny. We were coming back from our road trip over the New Year, and we wanted to listen to Harry Potter audiobook.
Nice.
And
It gets a little dry, though.
we're enjoying it.
No,
You know,
I still enjoy it. I listen to the
think
whole
I
thing.
liked it. Yeah, I think I liked it more than Katie and the kids. Well,
Yeah.
Katie liked it too, but I think I liked it the most. But for some reason, my Audible wasn't working, and so Katie signed up for Audible real quick. I'm like, "Did you use the link from the podcast?" She's like, "No." I'm like, "What? Why? Why did you use the one time? The one time we would have got something for it. She didn't do it. My life that I live, Oscar." God bless her. I love her.
That's hilarious.
So the lights are turned down low.
That's funny.
The ceremonial candle is lit.
All true this time.
It is lit, and the drinks were flowing. I've finished by this point. Let's get this show on the road. So, Oscar, you kind of alluded to right in the beginning that the listeners are finally almost out of the woods with the Ohio podcast releases, right? Not true.
Yep.
Not true.
Yep.
This technically is the capstone to our Ohio podcast adventure. And we're going to be talking about something called Snake. Oh, see? Fuck, I told you I was going to call it Snake Mound.
Oh.
Serpent Mound.
I wish I recorded when I first said Snake Mound so that people can know.
And I laughed and I said, don't worry, I'll probably call it Snake Mound too.
That's the first thing.
Serpent Mound
Yeah.
in Peebles, Ohio. A geoglyph location. A really cool, mysterious, ancient geoglyph location located right here in the Midwest, which is pretty amazing because you don't think this stuff would exist here. You
Right.
think it would exist overseas in, Egypt or wherever the fuck, and they do
Yeah.
overseas, which we'll see here in a while, but we have it right here in essentially our own backyard.
Yep.
So we did some recording there at Serpent Mound, which is supposedly haunted. I'll get into those stories. But nothing life-changing happened there.
No.
It was a lot of rambling commentary.
A lot of complaining about the rain and the mosquitoes.
The rain and the mosquitoes, right.
Dude, the mosquitoes were relentless.
I don't think I've ever been attacked that hard by mosquitoes.
Yeah. I think it constitutes as rape. We were raped by mosquitoes that day.
Much.
Pretty much.
It was horrible. I do remember the rain. Remember being up, you and Lexi were kind of walking around the mound at that point.
Yes.
Joe and I were up on, there's a platform above the Serpent Mound geoglyph. Because the thing with geoglyphs is they're meant to be seen from high above.
Yes.
And that's part of the mystery. Who were these creators of the geoglyphs making this for if they could only be seen from above, right?
Right.
So we were on the platform. You guys were walking around the mound, and all of a sudden we started hearing this sound like a tsunami.
It was so cool.
Yeah, and
besides the getting wet part.
yeah, we turned around and you just saw this wave, this wave of water coming at us.
It was such a cool thing. It looked like a Truman Show mishap.
Like an effect or something.
Yeah, it looked like a production effect. It's so bizarre. It looks badass. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, and then the rain just overtook us,
Yep.
and we had all this equipment and electronics on us. We tried to get cover in some woods that were close by, and that didn't work. And
There was like this little camping area or like a picnic area that
it
had
was like
shelter.
like an outdoor theater almost.
Yes.
Looked like they put on maybe educational programs there or something.
Yeah, maybe.
So we beelined it straight for there and took off a lot of our clothes and wrung it out, then went back out to the mound. But I mean, that was kind of cool. That was different. But otherwise, nothing really spectacular happened there. Dave had some theories, which I'll kind of
Reiterate.
talk about at the end of the show as to why this ancient location didn't really have anything going on while we were there. So I'm not. I guess the point is, I'm not going to include any audio clips from that episode, from that excursion in this episode,
Right.
because there was really nothing too intriguing for the listeners. So I remember while we were there, Joe Erie, who's the alien guy on the podcast, right, kept saying that he had this overwhelming urge to just look up, like something that was drawing all of his attention up to the sky, which kind of plays into some of the aspects of Serpent Mound and the ancient alien theory. So I remember that happening, but overall, not too much.
Yeah.
Not too much. So before we get into the meat of Serpent Mound, let's talk about geoglyphs. Like, what the hell is a geoglyph? A lot of people never heard that term before.
Me either before this.
Right. So, well, yeah. Before I get into that, what were your thoughts of Serpent Mound? I mean, you were there with us. You and Lexi were walking
You mean
around.
as to why it was there? You mean that kind of theory?
Yeah, or just your feelings there, your thoughts, your impressions.
You know, honestly, it was 90% mosquito avoidance, 10%. This is pretty cool. How the hell did they do this? And obviously, not the how as much as the why. I mean, it really feels based like on a religion. Now, I know that Native Americans did do it, right? That's confirmed?
Not confirmed.
No, not confirmed?
No.
Just
Experts
that it was...
can't agree who did it.
Right. But, I mean, it had to be people that lived here, and it was way before...
Right.
So it had to be natives from that land at that time. Right?
Yeah. But not the Native American listeners are probably thinking of.
Right, okay. I guess you're technically right. Sorry. People who lived here a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
Before this country was even a stain in your daddy's pants.
Yes.
So to speak. I think it feels religion-based or like a belief system-based because most times those are the reasons. That's why the pharaohs built those Anubis statues and stuff. That's my first thought.
Okay.
And then I was thinking like the idea of like, not a lot of people had different, what they don't call gods the gods that we think of today. And I was thinking like, were they trying to appease the hawks? Maybe that was their god because there was a snake, something that they could relate to, right? Maybe they have like a sign for them. Snakes be here. I don't know. We had a lot of jokes.
To attract the hawk?
Right.
Because the hawks would eat.
Or a way to communicate with banding troves, like this is our area, right? It could be a lot of things. I was trying to think of anthropological reasons.
To use your word, like an anthropological gang sign almost.
Yeah.
Our territory.
Right. This is right. Gang Central. Maybe it'd be funny to think about if some like 10 people did it as a lark. That would be so funny.
Yeah.
How many things have we misinterpreted that way, right?
Right.
Stonehenge was just like a failing game of dominoes for people back then, for all we know. But my favorite one it's an appeasement to some sort of alien activity, of course. It's my favorite one.
Yes.
It's the one that, as far as supernaturally speaking, makes the most sense. Okay. And I love thinking about it in that way. It's my hopeful reason. I like the idea that people from the sky came down, things from the sky. For all I know, people from my future came down there, and they appeased them by making this. Okay. I don't know why, again, but why would they pull a snake? Maybe they love snakes. I don't know. Yeah. So many questions, man.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted your opinion on it.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I think more so by the history being so close to home.
Yeah.
and not 5,000 miles away from us on the other side of the earth. But something like this being in our backyard, I think, is what really got me. I didn't feel anything. I didn't see anything. So, yeah, I was just kind of impressed by the history more than anything.
Oh, yeah, I didn't feel anything either, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to say that.
Well, cool. So, as I said, Serpent Mound is a geoglyph. And, geoglyphs, for those who don't know, they're essentially drawings on landscape that are thousands of years old, usually very large scale, and they're typically found in the desert, though not always, just like our Serpent Mound here in the Midwest, and they're located all over the world over, and they're meant to be seen from above. They're giant-sized versions of petroglyphs. Of course, when I say petroglyphs, I want you to think of the rock art drawn or carved into the surface of stone or in caves all over the world that date back thousands of years. So geoglyphs are the land formation version of petroglyphs. Yeah. And we reported live from a famous petroglyph site in Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast episode 26, live from the Bridgewater Triangle, part 4 of 5, Dighton Rock. That's what we titled the episode.
Yeah, we also saw the one on the island, too.
There was. For the life of me, on the Ohio Islands.
I know we didn't do anything about it show-wise.
No, but you're right. They had a massive petroglyph there.
And I guess the people who inhabited the island fucked that up and moved it and...
Didn't take care of it.
No, right, exactly. That's what it was. Didn't take care of it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Good. The name is slipping me.
I know we climbed it.
Which we shouldn't have.
Oh, I mean, I also climbed the Serpent Mound, which I shouldn't have either.
You did?
I did, yeah. Lexi and I did.
Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
That's all right.
You could totally get arrested for that.
Well, not anymore.
Statute of limitation, it's over.
That's weird.
I don't know.
It's over. Just don't go to Ohio.
That's right.
That's all I'll say. Yeah.
Now, geoglyphs are often made using what's called desert varnish. And desert varnish is really the act of sweeping the top layer of sand aside to expose the darker sand underneath, which forms patterns using that darker sand. It's almost like creating a picture using a dark wood varnish.
Etch-a-sketch.
Kinda. Yeah. Geoglyphs could also be created by building walls and shapes using dark stones. Essentially, the stones create the outline of a design, or geoglyphs can be made using a combination of desert varnish and these dark stone walls to form patterns. Now, researchers deduct that the one distinguishing feature of all geoglyphs, no matter where they're at on the globe, is that they're meant to be seen from above. That's the key here. You see, at eye level, geoglyphs don't make sense. They just look like loosely stacked, crumbling walls or just simply darker areas in a desert landscape. It doesn't look like anything. And the same was true with Serpent Mound. It just looks like kind of a gently rolling hill. But it wasn't until humans took to the sky that geoglyphs were actually discovered. Since man first took flight, thousands of geoglyphs have been discovered all over the world. And it's not until you take this aerial view of the geoglyphs, say from satellite imagery or from an airplane or today a drone, that exact patterns suddenly and with obvious purpose and meaning begin to emerge. We're talking about geoglyphs shaped like arrows, runways, intricate geometric patterns, intricate mandala shapes, animals, and even humanoid alien-like creatures.
Can you imagine how many were accidentally destroyed before we were able to take flight to see it?
Exactly.
Right?
It's sad to think.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what the purpose is of these geoglyphs, no one really knows. No one knows what ancient man was trying to communicate or with whom they were trying to communicate. So you have to ask yourselves, why did our ancient ancestors build these things if they could only be appreciated from the sky? Then there are the similarities between geoglyphs and petroglyphs. As I said, the drawings or carvings of concentric rings, geometric shapes, spirals, animals, humanoids, and complex mandala shapes, just to name a few. There's striking similarities between geoglyphs and petroglyphs, the patterns that are made. And since the similarities between geoglyphs and petroglyphs are worldwide in regions that, thousands of years ago, as far as we know, did not meet one another, these people did not ever meet one another, many believe that the symbolic language expressed in both geoglyphs and petroglyphs was given to early man by some higher intelligence. Extraterrestrials, in other words. And believe it or not, researchers are now saying that geoglyphs are not only found all over our planet, but they're even found on Mars.
Oh, yeah. I heard. Yeah, definitely. I saw that one.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
So this is freaky. So take, for example, what's popularly known as the face on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
On July 25th, 1976...
It's George Takei, by the way. That's the face.
Takei? Mm-hmm. On July 25th, 1976, while passing over the Cydonia region of Mars, NASA's Viking 1 orbiter captured a photograph of what looks eerily like a huge humanoid face, kind of like an Egyptian pharaoh, peering up from the Martian surface. And I'll leave a link of the picture of the face on Mars in this episode show notes. To conspiracy theorists and ancient astronaut theorists, this was absolute proof that ancient civilizations lived on Mars. However, 25 years later, in another NASA project, was sent to survey the red planet, to survey Mars. This time, when NASA's Mars Global Surveyor took a picture of the supposed face with a camera that was 10 times sharper than the original Viking camera back in 1976, we found out exactly what the face on Mars was. It was just a natural landform, a mesa, as they call it. The mesa, combined with shadows, lighting, and a subpar low-resolution camera, caused this natural Martian landform to take on the appearance of something it's not. Mm-hmm. Or is that what NASA wants us to believe? You see, in 2002, the Mars Global Surveyor captured, quote, an avian-shaped formation that exhibits a unique set of proportional features, end quote. The surveyor captured a picture of a geoglyph parrot, complete with an eye, a beak, a tongue, a leg, a claw, and an upright wing, as well as tail feathers. Now, the interesting thing here is an independent team of geologists, 2 veterinarians, one being an avian specialist, a bird specialist, and a sculptor, spent 6 years analyzing the Mars parrot photos and concluded that there are 17 points of anatomical correctness on this geoglyph parrot.
To what animal? Just a parrot?
To an actual parrot.
Regular parrot?
To an actual parrot, as we know it. Now, they argue, these people who were doing the study for 6 years, argue that these points of correctness are simply impossible to form through any sort of weather patterns, wind, landscape shifts, etc. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. And astoundingly, the parrot of Mars bears an uncanny resemblance to a copper plate made right here on Earth by the Hopewell Indians. Same parrot design, same upright wing, looks almost identical. And I'll leave a link to the parrot on Mars and the Hopewell Indian parrot in the show notes so you can see the similarities for yourself. It's fucking crazy.
Did I ever tell you my theory on that?
No.
So I had 2 theories. One is kind of discredited. It's also the most boring theory. One is that I've always wondered how a solar flare type of activity, don't know the exact term or what's a more extreme version of that, did like a bounce effect that landed on Mars and copied something from here to there. Like a pure accident or like a cosmic accident that somehow landed and was able to replicate its like outlying parrot form
I see. Yeah.
On the thing.
Like making a photocopy somehow.
Kind of like that, right? That's one. But I think it's discredited because of the metals, you're saying. The other one is that it's much more fun, it's more of a script idea, that us from the future put that there to encourage us to go to Mars to enhance space travel.
Well, that's really interesting because some people, some alien enthusiasts, claim that what we call aliens
is us
is
evolved.
actually us evolved from the future, coming back and visiting. Yeah,
right.
And Dave Black talks about this a lot.
Yeah, I thought of that many times.
Yeah, awesome. Now, as we go through the episode, you got to remember there's stories of this stuff from all over the world, as far back as recorded history, about sky gods, beings that came to Earth and bestowed onto humanity the gifts of science, astronomy, engineering, language, and communication. And namely, language communication through symbology, a universal language that all people could understand. Symbology. You got to keep that in mind as we go through this episode. And we, as the human race, take the communication through symbology very seriously. We actually developed a science to communicating through symbols. It's called semiotics. The study of signs and symbols mankind will need to not only communicate with future humans, but also extraterrestrials. If
We
they
use it in our
exist.
daily life too, by the way, guys. With traffic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Warning labels, biohazard,
Right.
danger.
The red
Absolutely.
means
red,
danger.
Yeah.
Red means to all that stuff.
Red's danger.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's a reason why it's green and not like blue. You think of blue as more of a passive color. Why not blue?
Yeah.
Green is the one color that our primate versions of ourselves distinguish the most.
Green with envy. Right?
Yeah, right.
Money's green. So, communication through symbology. Take, for example, the Voyager Golden Records. Now, this shit is cool. There are 2 gold-plated copper phonographic records that were launched into space during the Voyager missions in the late 1970s. Now, on these gold-plated records are carefully chosen sounds and symbols which depict the diversity of life and culture here on Earth. It's essentially the story of humans in sounds and symbols. And the golden records are intended for any intelligent extraterrestrial life form or for future humans living in space, as these records are believed by scientists to be able to last for 1 billion years. 1 billion years they'll be out there floating around.
That's crazy.
Because there's really nothing in space to degrade them, so they're going to last. Now, on these golden records are 115 images depicting life on Earth, the solar system, DNA in the human anatomy, animals, and Earth landscapes. There's also sounds of birds, crashing waves, people laughing, footsteps, and musical selections from different cultures. All sorts of great stuff that makes us, well, us. Also included with the golden records is a cartridge and a needle and directions in symbols on how a future extraterrestrial human could play the record. Now, if the golden records are spun using the cartridge and needle at 16 2/3 revolutions per minute, the sounds can be heard as they were intended. Now, I'll include links to the audio and images on the golden records in the show notes. There's a lot of stuff there, and it's really cool. Check them out, listeners, for yourself, and you decide. If you see these images and these symbols for the first time in, say, 10,000 years from now, what messages do they convey? Let us know. Contact at chicagoghostpodcast.com. So that's just one example of humans communicating through symbology. Here's another. This is another important example of semiotics. The U.S. Department of Energy wanted to come up with a way to design a universal, timeless warning system so future generations or extraterrestrials, they actually said, or extraterrestrials, would be wise to the dangers of nuclear waste storage areas here on Earth. The problem the Department of Energy faces is that language decays faster than radioactive waste. So they needed to devise a universal warning sign that would last throughout the ages. They didn't discuss computers or compact discs or flash drives. Shows how much faith we have in computer technology. They talked about symbols. Now, the Department of Energy launched what was called the Human Interface Task Force. Human Interface Task Force, a kind of panel competition to see who could develop the best nuclear waste warning symbol. The winner of the competition would be someone who could devise a symbolic warning system that would be able to be interpreted for at least 10,000 years, or 30,000 human generations. Lots of ideas were submitted, but the ideas that gained the most attention were submitted by, and I'm going to screw this up, Ashok Sukumaran, who proposed that a certain type of cactus be developed and grow cobalt blue in varying intensities depending on the intensity of radiation levels in the area. And another very popular choice was developed by philosophers Francois Bastide and Pablo Fabri. Go Italy. Who proposed engineering a cat that would change color depending on radiation levels in the area. And then they would create a culture or a legend around that cat that said, essentially, if your cat changes color, you move out of the area immediately. And I know it's weird, but again, we see the importance of communication through symbols. And that's exactly what these geoglyphs are, a means of communication through symbols. So let's talk about a few famous geoglyphs before we get into Serpent Mound, ones located in other parts of the world. Now, probably the most famous geoglyphs are the Nazca lines in the Nazca Desert in southern Peru. Thought to have been...
Those are big.
Oh, yeah, they're huge. You can see them from Google Earth and stuff. It's fantastic. Now, the Nazca lines over there in southern Peru, they're thought to have been created by the Nazca culture between 500 BC and 500 AD. So these things are old as hell.
Yeah.
Now, the geoglyphs, the Nazca lines, feature designs of geometric shapes, birds, fish, llamas, hummingbirds, condors, spiders, jaguars. There's trees, flowers, and hundreds of lines, and of course, humanoids, all clearly seen when viewing from very high above. Now, it's funny, we mentioned in the outtake episode we recorded, I said there was going to be a Simpsons tie-in here. And now these humanoid shapes in the Nazca area, it's funny, one of the Nazca humanoid figures looks exactly like Mr. Burns did from the 1997 Simpsons episode called The Springfield Files, play on X-Files, where Mr. Burns received these longevity treatments, and it transformed him into this kind of alien-looking creature, this kind of peaceful, alien, glowing thing that walked around Springfield. Anyway, that's what these Nazca humanoid figures remind me of. So there's my Simpsons plug. How these early people created the exact shapes of these geoglyph animals, which are dead ringers for their living counterparts, without an aerial view to help them, it's mind-boggling. No one knows how they really did it. Archaeologists, historians, and mathematicians have all tried to determine the purpose of the Nazca lines, but none have ever come to a solid conclusion.
Do you remember that book I mentioned? I don't know which show. It was one of those times when we were talking about, what you been up to this week, kind of thing. And I told you about this book I was reading, this history book about humankind and how we started, the idea of the first farming technology.
I do, and damn it if I remember the name.
It's called Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind.
Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind.
Yes.
Got it. I think we talked about that in the 33rd Parallel episode.
That sounds right.
Possibly. Yeah.
That sounds right. And it says one thing. I mean, I don't remember every detail because a lot in there. But one of the ones that stuck out to me is that for the longest time, before we were number one on the food chain, we were never number one, by the way, for a long time, our cranial activity, the bigness of our brains, right, was never a positive thing. Actually, it hindered us much more as bigger predators could hunt us easier and things like that, because it was a hindrance to have such a big skull compared to other animals. And one of the things that led to evolving in us using that to our benefit, as we see today with technology and the way we live, is that it has never changed. And the idea that hunter-gatherers or even the early farmers, right? Or even before that, that they were, once we evolved from primate and became the Homo sapiens, we have never been any less dumb or smarter. Like, we incorporate a lot of our past successes and inventions and things and way of life. We completely evolved those things to where we are today. So yes, if you could take one person from there to here, we're definitely smarter at them at almost everything, except for, living by yourself, hunter-gathering.
Yeah.
Right. But they didn't have any difference in cranial activity than we do today. So they are as smart to do this.
You think?
My point. Yes.
Interesting.
Based on what I read there.
Wow.
So they were as smart as us today.
But
it's not that they just didn't have, they don't have phones or don't have anything like that. But yet we're taught, dumb Neanderthal. Nope.
Right?
I mean, Neanderthals, are dumb, but not the Homo sapiens. And we've been around for hundreds of thousands of years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that has something to do with these geoglyphs. Maybe they did have the capacity.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I believe that they do. I think history has already taught us. I mean, based on this, I don't know how real it is. I didn't cite all the sources, but it's based on this one source is that is a truth. That's a fact for the most part. And we don't know why, and we don't know how they did it. But to say that they didn't have the capacity to do it is dumb. They did have the capacity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll leave a link to it's a YouTube video showing almost all of the Nazca geoglyphs in the notes. There's going to be a lot of links in the notes here, so you can actually see the stuff we're talking about.
Exactly.
It's really awesome. It's awesome stuff. So that's the Nazca lines, probably the most famous. Then there's what's called the Atacama Giant in the Atacama Desert in Chile. The Atacama Giant is 328 feet, 10,000-year-old humanoid geoglyph made in the side of a hill. No one knows what ancient people built it. And the humanoid shape, when you look at it, it has these very strange vertical and horizontal lines coming out of its head and these long, kind of creepy, spindly arms and legs.
Maybe that's a symbol like warning, don't go in this hill.
Maybe that was their ancient warning symbol, yeah. Now, local elders in the area claim that the Atacama Giant represents sacred space, and that someone who enters the Atacama Giant, someone who walks into the middle of the geoglyph, they're allowed communication with the sky gods, what the elders call the sky gods. But as awesome as the Atacama Giant is, and mysterious as it is, it's hardly unique. In Blythe, California, in the desert just west of the Arizona border, geoglyphs can be found in what's called the Blythe intaglios. Thought to be built by the Aztecs, the Blythe intaglios contain 300 ancient geoglyphs depicting animals, spirals, gigantic humanoid figures, again with these long, spindly arms and legs, very reminiscent of extraterrestrials.
And is it the same spindliness as the one in Chile?
Just like the Atacama Giant, yeah.
That's a big...
And there are many, many more examples of these humanoid geoglyphs all over the world. And again, I'll leave a link to a satellite view from Google Earth of the Atacama Giant in the show notes. Check it out and zoom in. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Kind of reminds me of the premise for Prometheus. Have you seen that movie?
Oh, yes.
Okay. It's a controversial movie. I really liked it, though.
I did, too.
Oh, good. In Prometheus, you remember how the anthropology scientists, whatever they are, they're trying to figure out the origins of man, right? Things like that. And they they find both cave paintings to probably geoglyphs and some other things from different corners of the world.
This is what we're talking about.
That describes the same... they describe the same marvel at the same star pattern in the sky.
Yes.
And they're all different ages of time. So, like, the idea is that something connected these dots back then to these civilizations that didn't know each other.
Yes.
Right.
That's exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I love that connection. I didn't think of that.
That was a really cool thing.
That's exactly
it's a really
what we're
cool
talking
opening
about.
to that movie. I really like that. That's such a
cool
way to do that movie. Anyway.
Well, then there's something called the Cosmic Egg in Kanda, Macedonia. this cosmic egg in Kanda, Macedonia, it's on top of a hill. And it's a large geoglyph depicting what's known as the cosmic egg, the source of primordial creation. It's the great egg of the universe, according to ancient beliefs, from which a powerful entity or deity is born. Inside the Macedonian cosmic egg geoglyph sits a symbol representing the all-seeing, all-sustaining cosmic god called Se, just S-E. It's pronounced Se. Mm-hmm. Also known simply as the First. Now, the Se symbol is also in perfect alignment with the Cassiopeia constellation. Here's exactly what you're talking about with Prometheus, right? Which is named after Queen Cassiopeia in Greek mythology, meaning the Queen of Heaven, the Great Mother, and the Mother of Andromeda. And keep in mind, this cosmic egg, I just lost my place. Sorry. I'm so tired. And keep in mind, this idea of the cosmic egg hatching some kind of primordial god isn't just a Macedonian thing. This concept is found in Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, Phoenician mythology, Chinese mythology, Norse mythology, and Polynesian mythology, and more. I'll leave a link to an image of the Macedonian egg in the show notes. And the cosmic egg hits very close to home, as we'll see here in a little bit. Which brings us to the actual topic of this episode. The Great Serpent Mound in Peebles, Ohio. The oldest known surviving geoglyph effigy mound in the world. We're talking mysterious, prehistoric history right here in the Midwest United States. Now, so listeners know, I'll leave a Google Earth link, of course, in the show notes of Serpent Mound, so you can see exactly where we were and what we were looking at. And there'll be pictures that we took ourselves of Serpent Mound on ChicagoGhostPodcast.com. Now, the Great Serpent Mound, it's on the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization's World Heritage List. Serpent Mound shares that list with places like the Great Wall of China, the Pyramids of Egypt, the Taj Mahal, Pompeii, and even Stonehenge, right here in the Midwest. It's crazy. So Serpent Mound, it's a 1,348-foot long geoglyph effigy mound made in the form of a huge, sinuous snake with a curled tail at the west end, a head at the east end, and 7 winding coils in between.
Right. All very purposely done, folks.
Exactly. Because the tail points to the winter solstice sunrise, and the head of the snake aligns with the summer solstice sunset. And at the head, it appears the giant snake is swallowing something huge and oval-shaped. Many experts believe this large oval shape is yet another cosmic egg, right here in essentially our own backyard. And to add a little creep factor to this egg shape back over at Serpent Mound, back in the day when early settlers discovered the mound, they found supposedly a burnt stone altar-like structure right in the middle of the egg, signifying that sacrifices were often made within that egg, possibly even human sacrifices.
Yeah.
So anyway, in all, the snake stretches for about a quarter mile and ranges from less than a foot to 4.9 feet in height. So this isn't a huge thing. And it's 19.7 to 24.9 feet in width. So really, if you look at this thing from eye level, it looks just like a tiny, long, gently rolling mound or hill. It isn't until you see Serpent Mound from above that you really recognize what it is. It's a huge-ass snake eating an egg. Snake Mound was mainly formed by forming yellowish clay and ash into the snake shape, then reinforced with a layer of rock, then covered with a layer of soil, on top of which grass eventually grew. That's what creates the shape.
And it must have been really wild and overgrown when they discovered
Back
it.
then, yeah. Yeah, when the settlers found it. Now, experts, they can't agree who exactly built the mound, when, or even why they built it. In the late 19th century, Harvard University archaeologist Frederick Ward Putnam was the first person to officially excavate the Great Serpent Mound. He found zero evidence of artifacts within the mound to attribute it to any one ancient Ohio people. Later, archaeologists used radiocarbon dating on charcoal found within the mound and dated the charcoal, and therefore the mound itself, to the Fort Ancient people, somewhere in the late prehistoric period of North America, around 920 CE, or Common Era.
Yeah.
The Fort Ancient people inhabited land near the Ohio River Valley in the areas of modern-day southern Ohio, northern Kentucky, southeast Indiana, and western West Virginia between the years 1000 and 1750 CE, Common Era. Later, archaeologists claimed the Adena people built Great Serpent Mound due to Adena burial sites located very nearby, which would put the mound being built around 800 BC to 100 CE. Now, this Adena theory held steady until about 1991, when yet more carbon dating was done on the site, and it was determined that the mound was approximately 900 years old, the year 1118 CE, still in the late prehistoric period in North America, which would bring the mound builders back to the Fort Ancient people. Then, in 2014, another team of archaeologists presented new radiocarbon dates for the mound, suggesting that it was built by the Adena culture at around the year 300 BC. I know, it's confusing. The reason archaeologists get so wide of date ranges is due to burrowing animals, the mound cracking due to frost, other ancient people fixing the mound, and more modern attempts to preserve the mound, and not to include any other outside elements, which cause the clay and the ash that make the mound to mix. All these elements cause it to mix, bringing old stuff down, sending new stuff up, vice versa, getting it all mixed up. So when scientists try to take samples to date it, the results are all over the place, and no one knows what's really going on. Now, a little bit about the Adena people. They inhabited Kentucky, southeastern Indiana, southwestern Pennsylvania, and most predominantly they focused in the southern Ohio River Valley from approximately 800 BC to the year 1 CE. Now, I have to mention here, Adena is not the name of the tribe that inhabits these areas. No one knows what those people called themselves. Adena and Adena culture simply means pre-European contact and encompasses artifact styles, architecture, and other cultural practices that distinguish the Adena culture from earlier or later cultures in the same region. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, whoever built Serpent Mound, one thing is certain. According to historians, native cultures in North and South America attributed supernatural powers to snakes. And the Great Snake was one of the most powerful creatures of the woodland Indian underworld. Woodland Indians being it's a general term for the ancient Ohio natives. Could Serpent Mound have been a shrine where ancient shamans invoked the terrible power of the underworld? Since there are additional burial mounds and graves near the Serpent Mound site, but not on or in the mound, could the snake be some sort of guide, directing spirits of the deceased which way to go? Since there's astronomical alignment with the solstices, I mentioned that a few minutes ago, was Serpent Mound a calendar of some kind, maybe to mark the seasons? No one really knows. The design of Serpent Mound also matches the shape of the constellation Draco, with the star Thuban, or Alpha Draconis, which served ancient peoples as the North Pole star, lining up with the first curve in the snake's torso right underneath the head, while other stars in Draco fall upon the outline of the mound. This alignment suggests another purpose for Serpent Mound, a kind of compass that helps determine true north. Now, some of the strange stories coming out of Serpent Mound. In October 2017, so this is recent, 3 people, a geologist, an environmental scientist, and a producer.
Walk into a bar.
Sounds like a joke, right? These guys, they went to Serpent Mound to do some surveying. And as they were unloading their car, getting their equipment out, their surveying equipment, they were rocked by what they described as massive booms, what they called sounding like artillery explosion. No source for these mysterious sounds were ever found, but all 3 said it was so loud it rattled their chests. Reminds me of the rash of mysterious screeches and booms being heard and recorded around the world, all with no known source or obvious explanation. New Agers, these hippy-dippy types.
Like a beacon.
Right, yeah, maybe, a beacon. New Agers flock to Serpent Mound because they believe the site is highly charged, both energetically and spiritually. And these New Agers do a lot of crazy shit at Serpent Mound. Take, for example, what happened in 2012. A group of self-proclaimed light warriors from an organization called Unite the Collective assaulted Serpent Mound, claiming on their YouTube channel to have illegally buried hundreds of organites, these small, kind of muffin-shaped devices composed of resin, bits of metal, and crystals, in Serpent Mound in efforts to lift the vibration of the earth so we could all rise together. That's a quote. They buried these organites to, quote, lift the vibrations of the earth so we could all rise together, end quote.
That's one way to do it.
They essentially wanted to reactivate the energy supposedly found at Serpent Mound. Now, orgone, or orgone energy, what the organite muffins are supposed to harness, was made popular in the 1930s by Austrian doctor of medicine and psychoanalyst Wilhelm Reich and his student Charles Keeley. Orgone energy is a theoretical, omnipresent, meaning everywhere, living energy, and harnessing argon can control everything, from human libido to even controlling the weather. No proof was ever established that orgone exists. It's funny to note that some of these light warriors, the ones who illegally buried these hundreds of organite muffins in Serpent Mound, they got arrested. You absolutely cannot dig or walk on Serpent Mound because it's a protected historical site.
Mm-hmm.
Now, besides the light warriors, tons of people flock to Serpent Mound from all over the world to hold drumming ceremonies, healing ceremonies, and even sweat lodges, all with the hope of connecting to the strong energy associated with the site. Then there's the theory, this is a good one, that Serpent Mound is a refueling station for extraterrestrial spacecraft.
I like that one.
Yeah. Now, bear with me here. Excuse me. You see, underneath Serpent Mound, there's an unusually high concentration of an extremely rare metal called iridium. Iridium is only found near the Earth's molten core, or within asteroids and comets. In fact, the iridium levels at Serpent Mound are 10 times higher than anywhere else on Earth. Interestingly, and in line with the Serpent Mound as a UFO refilling station theory, iridium is a good catalyst for the decomposition of hydrazine, and this is used in low-thrust rocket engines. Iridium is known to withstand extreme heat and is therefore used in particle physics.
Antiprotons.
Yeah, for the production of antiprotons, a form of antimatter. Now, if you remember, back in the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast episode 64, Holy CERN, where we talked about CERN, the scientific laboratory
Yes,
CERN.
of course.
What do we say happens when antimatter meets matter? They annihilate each other and produce energy.
Yeah. But I knew the antiprotons that, again, from another movie called Avengers.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's real science here. Now, for years, probably decades, UFO researchers have speculated that a propulsion system used by E.T. craft could be antimatter driven. Sound far-fetched? Not so much.
As to what you were saying before about the, people, also it goes with the gas refilling station idea, is that, how, people would try to go there to harness this energy.
Yeah.
It feels like if that were true, and it is like, let's just call it a giant battery of energy, I think it's like a dead battery.
Serpent Mound.
Yeah. I mean,
a dead battery.
A dead battery. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just not used anymore.
Not active.
Like, it's an Amoco battery. Like, it's not around anymore. And it's possible that that's a part why Joe and Dave and us didn't feel anything that day.
No more energy left.
There's nothing left. I mean, it's a landmark for sure. It's not unimportant, but it's maybe it has no water, so to speak.
That's interesting.
And it's a cup or something. I don't know.
That's supposedly there's science behind this, know, and in fact, the NASA Institute for Advanced Concepts is working on an antimatter-driven spacecraft to get man to Mars.
Yeah, that'll probably have to happen.
Right. So at the end of the day, were aliens using this location to source material, in other words, iridium, to help power their vehicles?
Yeah.
Was the mound built by aliens themselves, sort of as a marker on Earth where their precious iridium could be found? Oh, well, with this area and the iridium, what scientists and geologists believe is that about 256 million years ago, an asteroid smashed into this part of present-day Ohio.
Really?
Leaving behind this large iridium deposit, as well as other anomalies found on the site, like strange rock formations, deformed sand granules, and cracks in the quartzite crystal found way underneath Serpent Mound. In fact, ground abnormalities found at Serpent Mound match those left behind after bomb tests at the nuclear test sites in Nevada. So something big happened there. There's even been gravity and magnetic anomalies located at Serpent Mound and recorded at Serpent Mound. Problem is, if a meteor actually caused this iridium and these abnormalities in ground and sand and the crystal underneath the ground and these magnetic and gravity shifts or issues, if a meteor actually caused this, it would have created, scientists say, a hole in the earth about 1,000 feet deep and 5 to 20 miles across. No evidence of a meteor of this magnitude has ever been found in this place, in this area. Could it have disintegrated 100% when it hit the earth without leaving a crater the size I mentioned? Mm-hmm. Maybe. But whatever the case, there definitely is something with the energy of the place, and it's no coincidence that ancient people decided to build a structure there. Then there's a Serpent Mound crop circle. I'll leave a link to the crop circle in the show notes so you can see it. You got to check it out. It's amazing. In keeping with the Serpent Mound UFO theme, on August 24th, 2003, a mysterious crop circle appeared in a soybean field very near Serpent Mound. The crop circle itself looks like what's known as the Vesica Pisces, a mathematical shape formed by the intersection of two disks with the same radius, intersected in such a way that the center of each disk lies on the perimeter of the other. Now, mathematically, the Vesica Pisces is a special case of a lens, the shape formed by the intersection of two disks. The ratio of the height of the Vesica Pisces to the width across its center is the square root of 3, or 1.73205008, on and on and on it goes. And if straight lines are drawn connecting the centers of the two circles with each other and the 2 points where the circles intersect, 2 equilateral triangles join along the edge. So the Vesica Pisces crop circle found at Serpent Mound is definitely not some random pattern. It wasn't created by wind or anything.
How do you even spell that?
There's math to this. Now, the Vesica Pisces itself, or the Vesica Pisces crop circle found at Serpent Mound, that geometric shape ties into what's called sacred geometry, the ancient belief that God, whoever that is or whatever that is, created the universe according to a geometric plan. For example, think of what's called the structured nautilus, the shellfish, whose shell grows at a constant rate, forming a perfect logarithmic spiral. Or think of the hexagonal shapes honeybees use to store honey. It's even said in sacred geometry that you could take a geometric shape and place it over an image of any natural or human-made construct and find parallels between the geometric object and the natural or human construct. This is the idea behind this sacred geometry. There's mathematics in everything. Now, in regards to the Serpent Mound crop circle, on closer inspection, it was discovered there are two Vesica Pisces, one within the other. It's very strange, and no one knows how to interpret this double Vesica Pisces.
It's so strange that you say that every time.
What?
Vesica Pisces.
Vesica Pisces?
I like when you say it.
It's kind of a cool...
Yeah.
I'm going to name my next kid.
I just looked it up.
Did you see the image?
Yes.
So this crop circle has two Vesica Pisces.
I saw the crop circle.
Oh, you did see the... Okay, cool. Also, within this crop circle, there's a cat's eye shaped, created when the predominant Serpent Mound Vesica Pisces formation overlaps. If you draw a straight line from the point of the cat's eye across the soybean field over to Serpent Mound, about 3,000 feet away, that line that runs from the cat's eye runs directly between the head of the snake and the egg shape, the sacred egg, the universal egg that the snakehead appears to be swallowing. Bisects it perfectly. To many, the crop circle changed the interpretation of the snake shape found at Serpent Mound. Is the crop circle's purpose to draw our attention specifically to the snake's head and egg, thus transforming the mound from a snake to a sperm and ovum? When looked at it in this light, Serpent Mound could definitely resemble sperm fertilizing an egg. But ancient people had no knowledge of our reproductive system. They didn't know what sperm was. They didn't know what an ovum was. They didn't have microscopes to see these things. Or did they? This fucking place is crazy. And of course, there are a few ghost stories associated with Serpent Mound, but not many. It is said that late at night, shadowy figures can be seen wandering the sacred site. Quite possibly remnants of the site's original builders, whoever that was. Intense energies are said to be felt on the walkways encircling the mound, where you and Lexi were walking. But really, that's about it, as far as ghost stories. Nothing too crazy. So that's Serpent Mound.
Yeah.
That's where we went, and it was incredible to say we've been there, to see this mysterious spot.
Yeah, it's like, you know how it feels like? It feels like when you go into that alley right next to that movie theater where this guy was gunned down.
Dillinger's Alley. On Clark Street,
You would know exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. It's like, I've been there, right? I know you've been there. I think we've been there together, actually. I've been there before. So. Walked through it, I think, a few times not thinking about that event, other times with that purpose in mind. And you don't feel anything. It feels, you know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, clairsensitive wise maybe. But you understand its history, and it's fascinating for that. I think Serpent Mound is like a bigger, you know, a time-lapse version of that or whatever. It's like a much bigger, obviously, than a famous mob murder. But I think it's similar, just on a grander scale. It
certainly could be. I mean, just have that overwhelming feeling of awe that you're in the confines of this mystical place, right? Yeah. Kind of like that.
Yeah,
not necessarily feeling the energy, but you're feeling the overwhelming shock of wow, this is.
You are in a place where shit went down.
Right.
Like this could have been the New York for something, the Grand Central Station of something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I think that's what I meant by New York. I don't know. Yeah, it's amazing. It's it's a lot of this stuff, and it makes sense why we never delve back. Like why a lot of our conspiracies tend to occur when records were being held, tend to occur when the recorder device was invented, the camera has been invented because we actually are able to corroborate things, and things are irrefutable, right? Yeah. About, like, for example, like the Manson thing. We know where he was. We know what he tried. We can listen to his music on iTunes. You know, things like that. A lot of stuff you just don't know. Yeah. There's nothing. This is the only thing. For all I know, this is the smallest part of a bigger thing that we just don't know. Maybe this is like the forgotten corner of something, you know?
Yeah, right.
Or the biggest thing ever. I don't know. I like the idea of it, though, that it correlates with the other geoglyphs. And
yeah,
God knows what else that have gone away from weather or human interaction.
Yep. And some of the Nazca lines were destroyed by, I think it was like a truck that didn't realize what it was rolling over and destroyed a bunch of these ancient things. So you're right. Who knows what we lost?
Yeah.
And I really like your theory about the depleted refueling station.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't feel anything.
Right.
You know? But those iridium deposits are there. It's a real thing. And there are abnormalities all around that are closely resemble a fucking nuclear test site.
Right, which can only come through like a space thing, because space is radiation heavy.
Right.
So
yeah, exactly.
Makes sense, the meteor thing. But if there's no indent in the Earth's surface...
Yeah, so from what scientists said, that would be blatantly obvious that...
It'll be a lake there,
exactly.
or something like that. Yeah. It's anything that can penetrate our atmosphere like that, enough to leave enough evidence where today we know that there's iridium radiation there, would have left an impact. I think the lack of evidence is giving us a lot of evidence, too, because that means it wasn't... a natural hitting meteor,
right.
Probably something landed from space, something else, something landed softer, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah, I like that.
And then your theory sort of ties into what Dave was saying a bit. Dave's whole outlook, I wish he was here to explain this, but, if this thing sat inactive, undiscovered for hundreds of years, mm-hmm. multiple hundreds of years, when the early settlers finally discovered it. So, we always talk about how energy interacts with us. Energy could charge itself off of us to become more predominant, more noticeable, able to interact in your environment by charging off of human expelled energy, right? Mm-hmm. So Dave's theory was this thing sat stagnant, in other words, for hundreds of years. The energy that was there had nothing to refill itself, to recharge itself, and therefore just dissipated or turned into something else completely and left the site.
Yeah.
Which is why our two clairsensitives, who do have a gift, who could pick up on this stuff, felt absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Joe just kept it's dead. It's dead here.
Maybe it's like a puddle of water, right? Like in the sun. Like if you don't do it, if you don't add any more water, it'll eventually evaporate, and then there's no more water forever.
Right. We're humans are the water to this stuff.
Right. We're not adding water to it. If we were too late and it's evaporated, it's probably gone forever. Or, the idea of evaporation means that it's not gone forever. It changed into clouds, moved somewhere else. But
right.
In the case of my analogy, it's gone forever. Or
it's moved on.
Or it could be that it's being primed, and it just takes actual time to get primed.
Yeah.
For all we know, more people will visit. We send more studies. People visit more. People like us go there. Maybe we're slowly priming it. Maybe it just needs a jump start. In
another 1,000 years, boom.
Right.
The old thing erupts.
But those booms, remember? Remind me of those booms again. What were they again?
So there were two surveyors, two researchers, a scientist, a surveyor, and a producer. Mm-hmm. Were going out there to kind of survey the land and get readings and things. And as they were unpacking their equipment, they were just rocked. Their chest shook by these massive booms that happened, coming seemingly right out of Serpent Mound. So they were in the parking lot where we parked. Mm-hmm. Boom, boom.
And it's coming from the direction of Serpent. Oh, yes. They could feel that? Okay.
Yes. Now, some people, there is, it's 6:15 in the morning. Holy shit.
6:12 to be fair.
I cannot think of the Air Force in Ohio, the Air Force Base in Ohio.
Oh.
I need to look this up. So some people say that they were sonic booms coming from the Air Force. base, but apparently, when contacted, the base said they had no supersonic vehicles in the air at the time.
And also, would you be able to feel it that strongly in your chest from that air?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, those sonic booms are Wright-Patterson. That's what it was, Wright-Patterson. It's not next door, but it's in Ohio. And, those jets could travel, hundreds of miles in a couple minutes. So they were trying to say at first it was these sonic booms, but according to the Wright-Patterson, they had no supersonic vehicles up in the sky.
Were they consecutive? Like, did they follow? For example, like if there was 3 booms, were the time difference between each boom the same? Things like that. Anything
that I didn't get.
We probably will never know because no one was recording, right?
They weren't recording at the time.
Right.
No, a few minutes later, probably they would have been recording.
Right.
But it hit right at that moment when they didn't have any of their equipment set up.
Is that our biggest fuck up that we didn't record in time?
I know, right? I mean, that's a pretty
the lens
big
cap was on.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And people hear these booms and strange noises in the sky, screeching, scraping noises.
Yeah.
Coming from seemingly nowhere all over the globe. I mean...
Yeah. Are they all next to sites like this? Or no?
Not all of them. It could be in a residential neighborhood. It's...
Does that feel... Do you think the answer is then that there used to be one there and it's been gone?
What? Used to be...
A geoglyph there.
Oh,
if it's happening in the middle of somewhere where there isn't a geoglyph. Or petroglyph.
Or maybe there's one that's not discovered yet.
Or that.
Oh, that would be cool.
Right.
I don't know. We've touched on these mysterious sounds in the sky on a very early episode we've done. When we first started, I can't remember what it was called.
Don't remember either.
But we played some instances of they weren't booms. They were calling the trumpets from heaven. These crazy sounds coming from the sky.
It kind of reminds me of a few movies that I'm trying to remember. It's kind of gone. But the booming thing is very. It's also kind of symbolic to not just American history, but like a lot of like religious stuff. When you think of the rapture, it'll come start that way. Things like that.
Yes,
people have described the drums of the sky that way. That's why I was asking if they were consecutive, or was it following the Fibonacci sequence? I don't know what, but I think that probably will say a lot of information because you could tell when something it feels random or feels like a pattern. You can just feel it,
Yeah.
When you see certain things, certain shapes, you know it's not. You know that it is by design. Right. Some of it, right?
Which, these things that we're talking about.
I wish I was there.
Yeah, I know.
That would have been cool.
All these things have a purpose behind them. They all do.
I've always wondered if... do you believe that time is relative or no?
Oh, man. We certainly experience time in different ways depending on what we're doing.
Do you remember that episode? I'm sorry, I'm skipping on here. Do you remember that episode when you were describing the sphere that covers our universe?
The sphere.
A bubble or something like that. We talked about it here. It might have been around the CERN episode. Might have been that episode. I don't remember the name of the thing you called it. It was like a short name.
I'm trying to think.
And you think of, there are such things as dimensions. We're living in the third. But we understand 2. We understand 1. We can't understand beyond what we're in. And there's got to be, I'm not saying there's level of importance to them. What I'm trying to say is that if we all believe communally that time is relative and that there is no time, and it's funny how time started in England, by the way. Right, with that
we talked about that too.
Yeah, started that. What was the name of the
Greenwich or Greenwich?
Greenwich. It's still Greenwich. 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 You're like Greenwich. Then maybe we can actually experience these things. It feels like it's too coincidental not to be something that we are causing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like time, it might be a big factor. What was that thing that that Einstein set up, or gravity. If you can control gravity, you can control time.
Oh, yeah. We're going back to the time traveler episode.
Right. Oh, yeah, that was a cool one.
Yeah. If I'm not even going to try.
I'm sorry. It
have to get to my
is very
notes.
late that I can't even.
But gravity did have something to do with it. Yes.
I can't put my real thoughts together. It is 6:18 a.m. So this might be a fail attempt. But I'm just trying to figure out if there's a thought there where these answers will be figured out, and it isn't through technological means necessarily. I think it is through a mindset means of understanding where we're at and how we're at. I think we can figure out a lot of these things better, especially with the thing on Mars, because I think it is a bridge. And you think of how close Mars is to Earth. I mean, it doesn't have everything we have, of course. They don't have the same atmosphere.
What do you mean close as to composition?
Topographically, geographically.
Got it.
Like, I think it's the closest thing to us. And that's, it's not a coincidence. I mean, I say 1 out of 9 planets, but like it's a big deal. Like the other planets are wildly different.
Yeah.
Much less livable than Mars is.
So you think there's actually, or were currently, or
Mars is more livable than the Moon.
Ancient civilizations up there, or current civilizations up there?
Yeah, or there will be.
Yeah, well, they're looking for us to go.
Right, there will be, or there have been. The parrot's such a fascinating idea because that feels Native American. It feels old. It feels like an old idea to put there. Even if it was a symbol, you think of symbology, what you said earlier, it doesn't really fit symbology as we would call it today. But they might fit earlier on in the early days of man. They might call that symbology. That might be a warning or a thing to say, welcome here.
Right,
or there are large parrots here, get the fuck out. That'd be funny.
It is exactly literally.
It's literal, exactly, right.
No interpretation. It's a big fucking bird.
And they're all the same size as that picture. Like, they're fucking huge.
Funny.
Yeah.
Did you look up a picture while we were going through of the Mars parrot?
No,
okay.
I did not even know where to start looking. You said a lot of things. I was trying to look for some of the stuff.
Can't believe I got through it.
Yeah, you did. Success. So.
I had a little trouble. The Vesica Pisces section.
That is so cool. That's a real. It's a good idea for a tattoo if you can mingle it around with something else.
Yeah,
that'd be a good idea for a tattoo.
Make that the eye of the big parrot.
You're gonna see. Like, for example, like I always think of. I mean, I've brought this idea many times, so I won't go into it too much. But I can see that symbol or symbols like what you talked about into. Like, you'll see it in a movie where it'll be like the diagram of the main villain's organization or something like that. Or like it'll be in the background of some fake scientific institute. Like, a lot of things like that are thrown around. When you said that some of those geoglyphs in other places of the world were spirals, I don't know where it was. I was thinking, like, how are are they perfect circle spirals? Are they square spirals? How are they?
They're not perfect.
No.
But they're circular, but they're not perfect.
Do they have a lot of lines to them, or is it like simple, like 2-3 loops? You know what I'm saying? Or
a
is
mixture.
Or is it intricate? Oh, mixture.
Definitely a mixture. Yeah. Some simple, some more complex.
Yeah.
But still, that same symbology being located. Why spirals here, and why spirals completely on the other side of the Earth? Why humanoid figures here with the lines and the spindly arms and legs?
Yeah.
And the same on the other side. It's mind.
On one hand, I want to ask, well, they put all this effort in. It can't be for no reason why this has more spirals than that one.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they didn't have TV. They had nothing to do, better to do. Maybe they were
just an extreme form of boredom.
Right. I don't know the answer to that.
Of course,
I think I'm leaning more towards the former than the latter. But
yeah, and Dave would. That's a perfect point. Dave would say it's just. Their version of doodling, like how we would doodle on a sketch pad, or while
their
we're
version
talking
of
to someone on the
doodling,
phone and we're scratching.
You know how heavy of an answer that is.
Yeah, I know.
Let's doodle, guys. 3 years later, we got barely the trace.
We got the outline, guys.
And now we got to fill it in. Come on,
it's a generational doodle.
Right? It's ridiculous.
Well, that's what he would say. And I'm sure there's other people out there that would say the same thing. I don't think so. That is not boredom. That is not doodling. That's not just the mind making random patterns. There's intent there, man. And and then what connects these people who supposedly, according to history and science, never met one another? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
No.
It's so crazy.
Doesn't make dollars either.
No dollars, no cents.
No. I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about or ask about? Because I really am tired.
Yeah, I think we need to bring this to a close. I can feel my voice kind of going a little bit because we've recorded so much tonight.
Yeah, we did.
We probably recorded, 4 or 5 hours tonight?
5 hours or so.
5 hours of recording. Yeah, my voice is starting to go. I can feel it.
Yep.
I taste like this metallic taste in the back of my throat.
Oh, really? I'm not that bad.
I wonder if my throat's bleeding from talking so much.
I'm not that bad, but you have been talking more than me. So.
Great episode. I hope you like it, listeners. Oscar, you liked it?
Oh, yeah, I did. I mean, I'll forget all about this when I go to sleep, but no, I'm kidding, of course. I loved it. Guys, let us know what you think, please. And also, ask us any questions that we might be too sleep deprived to think about. That'd be great. We can answer it back on a future episode.
Yeah, we can revisit.
That would be cool. I want to... Have you ever thought about going back to some of the topics we've talked about? Not like to do a part 2, but to do a retrospective. Let's do a reflection on CERN. I know CERN is not ending good, but another example.
Well, that's a good example actually, because Dave was really pissed that he wasn't here for CERN.
Well, I'm really pissed that he doesn't put the effort to come in here. So fuck him. True. No, for CERN, or reflection on another topic that seems like a one and done. Like Serpent Mound feels like a one, but it's not. Yeah. Or other things we've talked about. Like the number station. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Whatever. I think we should do some reflections, and maybe since we know so much more, or at least we theorize on so much more, maybe they can fit in a little easier, maybe a little harder. But
yeah, I'm all for doing that. For sure,
right, and also when we can't think of a topic, maybe we'll use one as a reflection.
That's a good play there.
It'll save us. It will save us business wise and theoretical wise.
Yeah, and the listeners get another take on a past show. Right.
We can also maybe add some clips from that thing. Like, I talked about this time, and put that clip in. Like, okay, now I think
that could be fun.
We could do something like that.
That could be fun.
Yeah, that could be fun. Now I'm done.
Yeah, now I'm done. I am done too. Oscar,
cool.
Could you possibly somehow steer us home through your sleep-clouded eyes?
All this snow? I mean, I'll try.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the weather.
You want to do water cooler talk right now?
A little bit of water cooler talk.
How cold is it,
how
motherfucker?
Fucking cold was it this past week?
Dude, it was fucking... I mean, I think it was colder by you. -55 with wind chill.
-55 for me with wind chill.
I think it was -47 with wind chill for me.
Was it really?
But still pretty fucking terrible.
That is record-breaking. No one ever remembers it being that cold here.
No, not since... I think you told me the same story. In 85, my parents were telling me...
in 85.
85 was a horrible cold year for a lot of Chicagoans.
So fucked up.
And also, so when I was driving... Because, another thing, I hate being home all day. I get fucking cabin stir crazy. I hate being home. Even I have plenty of stuff to do. I have plenty of movies to watch. I have editing to do, things to eat, clothes to laundry. I can do 50,000 things. I'll be bored as shit there, even as I'm doing them.
So this cold snap where everything was shut down, and everyone was locked in their house, it drove you nuts.
So Wednesday was the worst day. That's the day I told myself that I would stay home all day. I almost made it till 10. And then I left.
Oh my! Where'd you go?
I went to see Lexi. I forced her to come out for a brief whatever from her heat blanket induced whatever.
Yeah, she's always cold.
Yeah, to come out. I only saw her for 20 minutes, and I went back out again. But I was happy because I got out of the house. I just wanted to get the fuck out. It was so cold that my car. You know how the heater, or I'm sorry, I'm bad with cars. The heater, the thing usually goes to the middle of the heat of the car, right?
Like the vents.
The vents, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Usually goes to the middle of the gauge. If it goes too hot, that means it's overheating.
Oh, your temperature. Temperature gauge, yeah.
Whatever. Sorry. That thing. It wouldn't even go halfway. It was cold that the wind was keeping it too cold to stay warm. Like, it was warm enough to drive, but it wouldn't stay that warm.
That's nuts.
Usually after 20 minutes, not even, the car is up and running normal.
Oh, absolutely.
Hot enough.
Not even that long.
Right. And nope.
It was, that stuff. Cars were breaking down, accidents for people who were out on the road.
Definitely.
Everything shut down.
You know
Stores,
what Chicago did
banks,
with
mail?
With some museum buildings and other buildings?
Didn't they turn them into warm shelters?
Yes, they did.
For the homeless?
Yes.
Yeah. That's great. Kudos to Chicago for that.
Yeah, I was really proud of my city for a minute there.
Just don't give them too much.
That's it, a minute.
It only lasted a day, right? So,
Was it only a day?
2 days.
I think it was 2 days, but yeah, not more than that much. But it has been warmer.
Yeah, we're supposed to get 50 this week.
Dude, I heard about that.
I'm going to open the pool. I'm going to go swimming.
Doesn't it feel so great? I'm going to be out in shorts.
I know. It was like the apocalypse. There was no one on the roads because I went to the office, of course, to get some work done, but my choice. And it was like the apocalypse. The highways were empty. Yeah. Road was empty.
That must have
no mail, no garbage, nothing.
Nothing.
No, it was crazy.
Well, you get garbage delivered to your house?
Yeah, sometimes with Amazon. Yeah.
Nice. Nice snap.
So anyway, there's our water cooler talk.
Very cool. Wherever you're from, if you are warmer, fuck you. If you're colder, I'm sorry.
And are we going home now?
You know we're colder than Alaska?
Yes, I saw that.
Damn.
Was Alaska or Antarctica? Which I think it's even colder than Alaska.
Well, that says a lot about weather warming or whatever.
I thought they said in the news that one day, Wednesday, Chicago was colder than Antarctica.
That's crazy.
Fuck, man.
Sorry, now we're done.
No shootings that day.
No
shootings that day. Isn't that amazing?
No, you didn't. Did you hear about those fucking asshole, whatever they are? These little kids, not kids, they're like teenagers to early 20s. They were going around stealing this from people on the street, taking off, like looking for a specific coat logo.
Yeah.
That's expensive, I guess. They use real goose. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Someone told me the name. I forgot. They were going around the city stealing it from people directly,
as they're walking down the street.
Yes, in the fucking cold.
Oh my god!
There was still some crime. Oh no, they were.
Fuck.
No. We Chicagoans love our violence, love our crimes.
Do they want to get shot over these coats?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was too cold. Like, you fucking take it already.
The gun wouldn't shoot.
The gun wouldn't shoot.
The trigger was
I don't
frozen.
think they were that armed. But
they were still out there doing it.
Yeah, they did it a couple times. I think the camera caught a few. I just saw like a little bit of it.
I hope one of them is a listener. Fuck you.
I mean, I really hope they're not listening.
Yeah,
but I guess if they are, that's
hopefully they caught that.
Yeah, support our Patreon. They could afford it now.
Yeah.
Apparently, these coats are really expensive and great. Whatever.
Unbelievable.
All right,
Oscar. Well, you be careful while you're taking us home, so we don't get shot.
Oh, wait, of course. I will try. Later, guys.
Lates.
Do I do? Okay.
Do you still communicate that way?
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
This is personal, but people are going to go, maybe some of them. I know I do.
I love it.
Lexi got me last year or a year and a half ago, got me this old style quill pen set.
Oh, like calligraphy pen?
Not like the old style for writing, not like meant for calligraphy, but you can definitely write fancy.
Oh, that's dope as hell.
And I've been using it to write her like for events, for like birthdays, anniversary, Christmas, things like that. I would write her letters that I would handwrite with that, which she gave me. And I even got old papyrus type paper.
Oh, wow.
To do it in. And I've been writing secret notes and diagrams on each of those letters that she doesn't know about.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, I'm so serious.
How are you going to give it to her? Like, how is she going to discover
my plan?
this?
I'm really hoping she doesn't listen to the show, but because I just gave the big clue right there, and also to decipher. I've been giving her puzzles this whole time for 2 years with gifts. Some of them hidden in between the gifts I've given her that she hasn't found out yet. She has them all in her possession, all written in ink with puzzle pieces to them to figure out.
Yeah, and
all of it will lead to the passcode to this lockbox mechanism that they sell on eBay or on Amazon, where I'm going to put in and it's going to be in there, and she has to figure out the code to open it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say right now.
Oh, it's much more intricate. I would gladly show you after this, or tell you about it more after this, because it's hella intricate. It's like solving, I don't know, like a big puzzle, like a puzzle. Yeah.
I think you should document this entire thing for our YouTube channel.
Really? You think so?
Oh, it's fantastic.
I mean, it's not supernatural at all.
No, but it's great.
Yeah?
It's so cool.
Well, a lot of the pieces she has, I would have to take them back so I can show it to people.
Give me this shit.
Can we borrow this thing real quick?
So does she find the papers?
Well, I've given her personally two out of 3 letters. There's a 4th one coming in on Valentine's Day. 2 out of 3 letters I've given her to her, and I told her on the 2nd letter that this is the 3rd one.
Oh.
That there is one that she's had in her possession the whole time, and it's hidden in one of the things I've given her. Obviously, I'm not going to say it here, and it's hidden in there. She hasn't found it yet. And
that is creative as hell.
And that has the first clue to where she can find the rest.
Wow. Do you make people work for your love?
No,
I like this.
It's so awesome. I love it. I took so much time to do it.
Good for you, making it fun.
And I have, she also bought me, but I'm doing it based on the stuff she gets me.
Yeah.
She got me for Christmas a Polaroid instant camera thing that prints out pictures.
I've seen that.
And they're stickers, essentially. In the back of them, I've numbered them all. And I've written some stuff in ink in those pictures. In this album, I'm going to give her pictures of me, being cutesy for her, like, keepsake. That she needs to open this locked box, but she has to figure out how the numbers correlate with the letters.
How long are you giving her to not?
So at the end,
I'm going
to give her answer. So at Christmas, if she doesn't know where that first letter is,
so Christmas 2019.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And Christmas 2019, if she hasn't figured out where that first letter is, I will tell her where it is.
And then kicks off the game.
But yes. Well, it's already kicked off. She already has everything she needs, really, to figure it all out, because I kind of went through this as I went along. I didn't, massively master plan this whole thing for years. And
this is diabolical.
I love doing this. She hates it. She's like, tell me. And on Valentine's Day 2020, I will tell her, and then I will let her figure the rest out.
Damn, that's... First of all, that's commitment. Mm-hmm. You're keeping it fun. You're keeping a spark there. I think it's fantastic.
It's a louder one, but I'm like, I'm not going to just give it to her. I got to make her work for it.
I think you just excited a lot of our female listeners.
Yeah?
I really do.
I hope so. Oh, also, she a long time ago, when we first met, our first year and a half in, I went into Barnes & Noble, and there was this thing. I was complaining about how I haven't been writing much lately. I've been feeling down about it. And she got me this book called 300 Writing Prompts, which is it asks you, every page has a question about your personal life, just to start writing, just to get in the habit of writing every day. I filled in half of it, and some of the answers are completely fake. And so she really wants to know what I thought about that question. She has to do that, and in it, there's another password in there. She has a book right now.
Holy shit.
Forgot about that.
It's diabolical, but it is sweet, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. I hope she doesn't listen to this episode.
Listeners, he's taken. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Ladies, Oscar is a taken man.
Oh. Okay, kidnapped?
You could kidnap him.
Oh, okay, good.
But just give him back close to every second Monday.
Yes. I see. To the show.
Oscar, I love it. Maybe Patreon supporters could help you in your diabolical scheme to eventually marry your girlfriend.
I do have this massive plan for a Chicago-wide treasure hunt.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
Yeah, I do have a plan already. In my head, I haven't done anything yet, but...
I hate to see it. No, I don't hate. I can't wait to see your wedding. That's going to be a whole charade.
I don't know what's going to do there. But
that's really good, man.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We divulged.
We did. We said we weren't going to do that.
I'm sorry.
We always do. Don't be sorry. It was fantastic.